Super Bowl 57 showcased the Black National Anthem that was sung before the actual national anthem. It's caused a lot of backlash. Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, is an open leftist, and that's why such a divisive racial thing was allowed. A lot of people are talking about it, but there's been a lot of discussion on social media. For one thing, it is revealing that there are two sides of this argument. And those two sides, I think, are becoming prominent around the world as we speak. It can't be stopped. It can't be forced into submission. And I think that this is the beginning of the end for the globalist, radical woke, Marxist progressives. Stick with me, and you'll find out why. Let's get into it. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the channel where we are the antidote to the daily onslaught of radical woke Marxist propaganda. So the backlash was strong. Twitter was afire, okay? Comedian Terrence Williams took to social media and he said, I will never stand for a black national anthem. I wouldn't stand for a brown or white national anthem. If you have to put race in front of an anthem, then you're racist. I think he's right. He said, I will only stand for America's one and only national anthem. We are all Americans. Now, isn't that the right sentiment, folks? It's not what a lot of people think. Terrence Williams is a Trump supporter. You can tell that evidently because that's what he believes, what he just said. The Trump supporters are civic nationalists. Carrie Lake actually refused to stand for it because, not because she's a racist, but because it's not the national anthem. Why would you stand for something that's not the national anthem? A lot of other people chimed in, and you can read them all in the link to the story that I'm going to put down in the description. But the way I see this, there's a silver lining in there, okay? There are two sides of this argument, all right? Many people believe that having a black national anthem is to divide the country among race. And I agree, that's what it's for. And even though leftists and progressives alike will tell you that it was done during Black History Month to lift black people up, the truth of the matter is a lot more complicated than that. But with it, some good news comes for a change. I don't care what anyone says. It is very divisive to have two national anthems. And when one of them is specifically for a particular race, well, then it automatically splits people up by race. But we've seen this for some time now. It's not the first time we've seen this. While the left are always telling us about the rise of white nationalism, at the same time, they completely are ignoring the rise of black nationalism. What we're seeing is evidence right now around the globe that the world is breaking down into two political choices. The first is defined by experts as civic nationalism, which is a love of country where everyone experiences the same rights and privileges as everyone else. And it's a nationalism based on the identity of your country as a melting pot, where you can keep your own ethnic identity, but you define yourself to others based on your nationalism or the country where you live. Civic nationalism adheres to traditional liberal values of freedom, tolerance, equality, individual rights, and it has no ethnocentrism. Around the world, civic nationalists are pushing for things like stronger border security. They want economic freedoms, free speech rights. They want the right to be able to elect the people who they want to represent them without worrying about voting machines being manipulated and things like that. It's pretty much the exact opposite of the globalist movement that enslaves everyone to the world's elites who think that they know how you should live your life better than you do. A good example of this would be how the Italians recently elected Giorgia Meloni as their prime minister, because she believes in nationalism, pride of country, where people are free to be whoever they want to be, but they have a love of each other based on their national heritage. Another good example would be Prime Minister Viktor Orban of Hungary, who pushes nationalist policies for his country. This is why the globalists all make fun of him. See, the idea is this. When Trump said America first, he didn't mean America alone. He just meant, look, we take care of our own people first, unlike the globalists like Biden and Obama and Pelosi and Schumer and the rest, where they want to take care of everybody else instead of us. We take care of our own first, and then we worry about the rest of the world. That's all it is, okay? The second choice is called ethno-nationalism, where they want to balkanize a country into different groups of people based on race loyalties. Black Lives Matter would be a great example of this. Remember how angry they got when people responded to them with the term all lives matter? Remember that? Another example, did you ever notice how Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and others of her ilk constantly talk about people of color? AOC never gave a rat's ass about anyone other than people who look like her, who have her ethnicity, or who belong to another ethnicity that aligns with hers. That's what she calls people of color. Civic nationalists want to be united as one multi-ethnic society, while the ethno-nationalists want to break everyone up in groups based on race. And now, here's the good news. Progressives do not fall in line with either of these groups. They are globalists who want every country to rely on every other country. They want a global one world order, and they buy into the World Economic Forum's Great Reset. Now, with nowhere to go between the two groups, the civic nationalists and the ethno-nationalists, once these political choices are embedded around the world solidly, and they're well on their way, folks, the woke progressive Marxists will fade away. And that's good news for the world. Okay, so we have civic nationalism and ethno-nationalism. Now, I'm not saying that either one is right or either one is wrong. If you want to live as a civic nationalist or as an ethno-nationalist, then more power to you. I personally think the civic nationalists will do better because there would be more opportunities to grow and thrive than with people who want to balkanize each other. The left already has this problem where each one of their little groups that have their own fiefdoms, like you have the LGBTQ, the black nationalists like BLM, the feminists, the animal rights people, and all the rest of them, they already fight among each other to see who gets the higher rung on the progressive totem pole to begin with. Civic nationalists like the Trump people, they don't deal with that kind of garbage because they understand that everyone who believes in the same thing, and that is pride of country, protecting your civil rights, and protecting other people's civil rights, and being able to be the best you that you can be is more important, and that when people behave that way, everyone has a better chance of opportunity to do better for them and their families. All right? Okay. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you in the next one.
Every day I am looking for a way to